Hey, everybody. Welcome. Cantina Social Hour Friday night. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Apologize, we were a couple minutes late there getting set up, but we're here. We're ready to talk, ready to chat. So let's see who is in the house with us this evening so far. See a good little bit of chatter here. Britt, how's it going, my friend? Thank you for joining us this evening. We got Dodgson in the house. Dodgson, how you doing? Tyler, how are you? Good to see you. Paul, welcome back. Good to see you, Paul. Dan, Utah Dan is here. Hey, Dan, how are you doing? We've got Mobile Recluse. Good to see you again. We have Jurassic Dave with us this evening. Hey, Dave, how are you doing? And we have Alex. Alex, good to see you as well. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. So I've got some new toys that I don't know if I want to open them on the stream, but I have some new toys, and I'm really excited because I have new toys. And all right, good to see you guys. Thanks for coming in and spending your Friday evening or part of your Friday evening with us here at Social Hour. Cool. All right, let's see what you guys are talking about so far. If you have any questions, anything you want details on, load it up here in the chat. We'll talk. Next week won't be the best week for our wallets as Jurassic collectors. We might be screwed. Okay, well, what's next week, Dodgson? What's next week? Beyond the Gates week. There it is. You answered it. Yeah. Well, we'll see what it is. If it's something that's not too expensive, then, and these are pre-orders, so pre-orders can be anytime between a few months to, like, if you're talking about like Hasbro, 2 years. So pre-order windows are very big. First rule of toy collecting is we don't talk about how expensive toy collecting is. Yeah. I know a lot of people that have different unique hobbies that they love, whether it is cars, whether it is gambling, whether it is flying airplanes, whether it is X, Y, and Z. None of them ever talk about how expensive it is unless you ask them. So yes, we don't talk about that unless we really want to feel a little depressed. And you know what? I don't. It's been a hard week. It's Friday night. I'm feeling pretty good right now. And I'm just glad to be off work and hanging out with you guys. Yes, this is a rated G show for all intents and purposes. Jacob, how's it going? Welcome to the show. I was able to acquire the Velociraptor Hammond collection from Target. Very nice. It's a good figure. Haven't seen that raptor in the wild yet. Where is Antok Merrick? I don't know where is Antok Merrick? Gosh, I think that we pre-ordered that, I want to say, like, in what, August last year, September. Not just Antok Merrick, but also Gale and Urso. Like, where are those guys? Where are they? They're gone. I don't know where they're at. Hopefully they ship soon. It feels nice to be on the weekend. Feels nice to be on the weekend at last. So Jurassic Dave says June. Britt says he and Galen all got sent here to Canada. Yeah, so they are in Canada. I've been seeing this on Instagram. Like, people in Canada have Antok Merrick, and they have do they have Galen? Yeah, they have Galen Urso as well. So I don't know. Mistakes happen. Not saying that's what happened, but you never know. Picked up 3 gaming grade figures, 2 Jet Troopers, and a boss. I opened one of the Jet Troopers. Very nice. I have 2 of the Jet Troopers too, and it's a really nice figure. If you have 501st like forces, it helps to flesh them out a little bit. So you guys want to see what I got? I got the latest wave of the vintage collection. And I'm really excited about this. Is a good wave. This is a cool wave. So it has kind of some duds, but then it kind of has, well, they're not really duds, I guess. Maybe this one's kind of a dud, but Yoda is the first one that I got. Yoda. And yeah, so there's I know a lot of people aren't really happy because this Yoda is basically the old Yoda that came in the Cave of Evil pack, which was kind of like based on the Black Series 3¾ inch Yoda. So it's not like the best Yoda, but it's Yoda in TBC. Is it definitive? Not really. Is it nice to have Yoda again out in stores in the main line? Sure. I feel like the card is a little bit muted too. Like the colors just don't really pop. So that's a little unusual. But the face looks really good. It's just not like a definitive like Yoda. It's not. They could have done better with the figure. I haven't opened it, but I kind of don't need to because I already have the other versions of this figure. So, yeah, I probably will open him though because that's what I do. But yeah, it's a pretty neat. It's a pretty neat wave, and I'll probably end up showing these again at some point. This one is also a repack on a brand new card, the 501st Clone Trooper. And it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. I really like the card. I know this is a Clone Wars like design, like animation card, which is kind of unique. But it looks like that's what they're doing going forward for Clone Troopers that are in the Clone Wars. I kind of dig it. I dig the card. The sculpt itself, I don't think this is one of the best sculpts. The sculpt dates back to 2011, and it's just not a good sculpt anymore. Or 2010. It's just not a good sculpt anymore. It's really skinny. I call this one the skinny jeans Clone Trooper. Just look how skinny. That's very unnatural. Like nobody looks like that. And then look how big the helmet is. So this is one that they certainly need to go back to the drawing board on because it needs work. I really wish we'd get like a definitive Clone Trooper because we haven't actually gotten a Clone Trooper, like a brand new one. Only the ARC Troopers, like from the 3-pack, I think are really the only ones. But we haven't gotten like a brand new sculpted Clone Trooper since this one, really. So it's not terrible. It's just, really unproportionate. So again, I wouldn't say those are duds, but they stand out a little bit less than some of the other figures in the wave. The other figures in the wave are some of the absolute best things, probably in the vintage collection, I would say. I'll say what looks like the best for last. Again, I haven't opened any of these because I was waiting for, I guess, the right time to do it. And they just came in yesterday, so I haven't really had a chance. So this is an exciting one, the Death Watch Mandalorian. This is a really exciting one. And this one, like, I don't know, the picture it kind of looks like he's like posing or dancing or something. It's kind of a odd picture, but it looks like he's on stage, like as a backup dancer or something. You can see like the little sparks coming off of the stage or something. That's what it looks like. He's kind of like, I don't know, fabulous Death Watch Mando. But the figure itself looks great. I think it really pops with that orange background. The back isn't too exciting. The back is just the back. If you've seen one, you've seen them all. But the figure does look quite good. The figure does look quite good. There we go. There's the angle. I got this wave from Entertainment Earth is where I got these. They came from Entertainment Earth. I pre-ordered the case. I don't even remember when, a long time ago. And finally they came. All right, so the next one, we got Fennec Shand. And Fennec looks really good. Look how good she looks. Like, look at the likeness. That is incredible. Like, she looks like spot on. That's one of the best likenesses I've seen in TVC. And the card is pretty cool. It is a little bit more artsy than I would have preferred. I kind of would have liked if they had gone more like a film still from the show, but this is still pretty cool. It's nice to have the figure, and it is cool that she's in Jabba's palace, or Boba Fett's palace, I guess, technically, at this point. But she's got some pretty nice accessories, and looks like a really cool figure. Yeah, I'm really stoked about this one. I can't wait to get her out of the package. She has interchangeable helmets, too, which is cool. And I think this is the best that I've saved for last, only because it just looks freaking awesome. Not that the other ones don't. Like I said, the Fennec looks great. The Mando looks great. But like this one looks like really good. So here is Ahsoka. And Ahsoka looks beautiful. Look at her. I mean, the card art, first of all, the card art is awesome. I love the pose. I mean, it just looks great. Like, I just love how, like, intense she looks. Look at that. She looks intense. Dual lightsabers. Yeah, rocking it. And the figure itself looks really good. Okay, so look at the likeness, if you can see it. Kind of hard to see, but the likeness on this one is, like, right there, like, top notch. Top notch. They did an excellent job with the likeness on this one. Once I open it, it will be easier to see, but yeah. So, oops, almost dropped her. That is the wave. That is the whole wave. Got the whole wave again. Entertainment Earth. They shipped my pre-order of the case, and yes, I have more singles coming. I have singles for the clones. I have singles. I think I have another Fennec and another. I have several actually Mandalorians coming, and I think another Ahsoka coming. So the case is really cool because you get to have at least one carded. Unfortunately, like the Clone Trooper only came one to a case, and so did Yoda, so they didn't multi-pack them. So if you want to have one to open and one to keep carded, you have to go back and buy another one to open up for those two. But the rest of them have doubles in the case. I wish all cases had at least two, because then I wouldn't have to buy multiples or extras sometimes. But this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. I'm excited about these. I'm really excited about these. Which one should I open tonight, by the way? You guys let me know which one I should open. I want to open one of them. All right, let's see what is going on over here, you guys. So Alex says that I saw online that the Droids exclusive Boba Fett and R2 are showing up at Target. Yes, they are. I got those a few months ago because my friend Tim from Boss's Bounty was nice enough to help me out, and he sent me some. But yeah, I have pre-orders outstanding with Target, and I hope that they ship those. I don't really have time to go to the stores. I don't mind going to the stores. I'm really busy. Got a lot going on. K2 Keys to Ben, still waiting for mine. I like that clone. Yeah, the clone is cool. Again, it's just not, it's just an outdated sculpt, and they really could do with redoing it. They really could do with redoing it. He skipped leg day. Yeah, I think you're right, Brittany. Look at that. I mean, look at his legs. Look at that. Yeah. Unfit to serve for sure. Yeah, he needs to work out those legs. How's he going to keep up with the separatists? I wish they would change that body on the clones. Yeah, that body really needs to be redone at this point. First they save the foundlings, and they dance. Yeah, could very well be. And yes, Fennec is awesome. The figure is good. Paul, I'm still waiting for my pre-orders. Yeah, so pre-orders are really frustrating because I feel like even if you order them early, like that doesn't mean you're going to get them first. It's just kind of like whatever it is. Sometimes Dork Side will get them first. Sometimes Big Bad Toy Store will get them first. Sometimes Entertainment Earth. I usually just order from Entertainment Earth because it is closest to me. It's like 2 counties over. So those, when they ship, I know I'm going to get them within a relatively reasonable amount of time. Most of the time, not always, things happen. And yeah, Amazon's been pretty good about TVC lately, to be honest. For shipping TVC, they've been pretty good about fulfilling pre-orders without having to wait too long. Black Series, that's kind of a different story. But my observation is that for TVC anyway, Amazon's been a little bit more spot on with pre-orders. Buzz Bomb, Fennec, and Ahsoka are great additions to TVC. Can't wait till mine show up someday. Yeah, someday, right? That's how I feel like sometimes. Sorry I'm late. Love this live stream. Still waiting on my Death Watch Mando. You're not late at all, Jesse. Thanks for joining us this evening. And yeah, the Mando goes perfectly with your icon, your avatar there. Thanks for joining in. We just started a little while ago. Yeah, good stuff. This is The vintage collection is doing some of the best stuff they've ever done. Like seriously, some of these figures, like Fennec, like the Death Watch Mando, like I have to look at them, like Ahsoka, like those are like stellar looking figures. They look incredible, engineering, everything, all that. But then you have things like them bringing back like this Yoda, and this is a little like puzzling because I know we need to finish the 96, right? And that's what this does. But this Yoda sculpt is just not, it could be so much better. It's not very articulate. It's got swivel elbows, for crying out loud, swivel elbows. And then sometimes they do things like the clone. And the clone, it's nice to have this clone trooper out again because it was hard to find when it first came out. I never got this one from the original run of TVC because I never found it in stores. But for all the amazing things they're doing in the vintage collection these days, I feel like this is kind of disappointing that they would just bring back such an old figure from forever ago. And the Yoda too, like those are a little disappointing. Maybe they're trying to balance it out, right? Because like I said, Fennec, Ahsoka, and the Death Watch Mando are phenomenal. Maybe they had to do this in order for those figures to be that great. If so, that's unfortunate. I mean, I don't think when it comes to the original 96, that's kind of a big thing that we're all clamoring for and pushing for. Those should be definitive. An original 96 should be something you come back to and you never have to revisit it again. It just needs to be like perfect. And unfortunately, that Yoda just isn't that. It just isn't that, unfortunately. Curiosity, what Hammond collection figures are you planning to pre-order? I pre-ordered all of them. I have all of them so far. I will buy anything that they release. Just anything they release, give it to me. Quality over quickness, Hasbro. This is the way. Yes, definitely. I would wait another year if it meant getting a definitive Yoda that I would never need to buy another one of. I would wait another year. I would wait 2 years. But of course, they are changing the packaging. So that's kind of sucks. Goodbye, Blister Bubble. Goodbye. You had a nice run, 40-something years. But yeah, this is a nice wave. I know that this wave is starting to hit stores too. I've seen at least Target. I've seen store reports of this wave hitting Target and also the new retro collection wave hitting Target. And I did pre-order those as well. The only one that's come in was the retro collection Ahsoka. And from Mandalorian, and she looks good. I haven't opened her yet, but she looks good. Not as good as this TVC figure I just showed you guys, but she looks pretty reasonably good. Reasonably good for sure. Yeah, so other than TVC, I'm trying to think of what's come in this week. I had a dinosaur come in, and unfortunately I forgot about it. I left it in the other room. But I had the Nan Moose Spinosaurus come in, and it looks really, 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 really good. Looks like really, really, really good. And it has like a miniature Eastdock sign, and it has a miniature Claire figure, which is kind of, I didn't really even know those came in there, but that was kind of cool. And the Spino is good. It's based on Jurassic Park 3, so it's not scientifically accurate, but if you want a one that's not like a toy, like Mattel, then this is a really good one to get. And I should have remembered to bring it, but I didn't. Other than those two things, that's about all I've gotten this week, I think. I can't think of anything else that's come in since the last stream, which is probably a good thing because, probably a good thing. So is that actually confirmed beyond 100% that our bubbles are gone? Yes, for all intents and purposes, it is basically going to happen. Hasbro announced, I think it was 2018, 2019, there was a press release that said that they were doing away with all plastic and all packaging. And it seems Hasbro hasn't come out and said, yes, this includes the vintage collection, look for a packaging change and this amount. They haven't done that, but all indications are that it will be affected as well. And that it'll probably be happening, maybe not this year, but it will be happening at some point. There's still time. My hope, my dream is that they don't do that because there's just no way that it would be the vintage collection. I know I keep saying this, but it's true. The vintage collection is the vintage collection because it's the vintage collection. And these figures, what makes these figures so charming is like, it's the fact that not only can you see the figure, but you can see a picture of the figure. And the reason they started doing this back in 1978 when the first figures came out from A New Hope is that the figures just weren't that good. And I mean, I don't know that they consciously thought that back then, but the figures didn't really look like the movie characters. That they had to add that picture to remind you, oh, by the way, this is Princess Leia. Oh, this is Luke Skywalker. This is Han Solo. And over time, obviously, the figures got better. And I mean, the vintage collection pays tribute to that heritage. It pays tribute to that aesthetic. This aesthetic right here of having the blister bubble, having the card with the picture of the character. That's what makes these special. And, this is a look that has been often imitated, but never duplicated. I know like Funko Reaction has tried it. I know that, a lot of lines of Super 7 has done stuff like this. And they've never recreated anything as good as TVC. They got it right when Kenner did it back in 1978. So there's really no need to redo this. I completely understand and agree with the importance of protecting the environment. I mean, I love the environment. I love animals. I love the earth, and I hope it continues forever and ever and ever and uninterrupted, and future generations can, all that stuff. Important, super important. But I don't think this is the solution, doing away with the bubbles on these things. I really don't think that's the solution. I'll go over the reasons again, just in case you didn't catch previous streams. But one, I keep these on card most of the time. Like half of them I keep on card. So it's a non-issue. It's not going back into the environment. It's going into my collection. It's being hung on the wall. And that's where it'll be for, I never plan to like get rid of any of these. Two, I have to recycle them. In my state, I have to recycle, this kind of stuff. So it gets recycled or gets sent to recycling. And three, this is like the benchmark of what minimal use plastic should be. I mean, it's already using such little plastic, and this kind of plastic is just like a little bubble. Have you seen like those Diamond Select figures that like the whole thing is just a big plastic clamshell? Like, have you seen some of what like some of these other companies like Super 7 does, where it's like just a whole big thing of plastic and a little bit of cardboard? Like this should be like what other toy lines that Hasbro does strive for, to be something like this. Not completely cardboard. There needs to be an exception for something historical like this. And maybe that's what the real issue here is. When it comes to places of historical, cultural significance, residences, buildings that celebrities lived in, battlefields, forts, all kinds of stuff like that. There is a conscientious effort to preserve those things. There are movements to preserve these things. And what I don't really, I know that these are toys. Okay. It's not the White House. It's not Graceland or anything like that. These are toys. But I think that at this point in time, this toy line has reached historical significance enough to the point that there should be some effort to preserve not just the toys that have come out thus far, but any iteration of this toy line going forward. Maybe that sounds a little radical or extreme, but I mean, we protect a bunch of other things that maybe aren't necessarily as culturally significant, as a globally renowned as the vintage collection packaging. So maybe there is some way that, enough people can gather and make a concerted effort to push for that, some sort of a historical recognition or a cultural recognition of the vintage collection packaging. I'd support such a movement if anybody out there wants to start that. I'm sure several websites that I know would be on board, because I've talked to them, and we'd all be on board with fighting for TVC, fighting to maintain this aesthetic of the packaging. So I hope it stays around like this. I'm not optimistic. All indications are the packaging will be changing. Would you say that Mattel has made a perfect line, Hammond collection, that surpasses the main line and offers what every 3 3/4 inch collector wants? Yes, the Hammond collection is the best thing that has existed for Jurassic Park / Jurassic World since the Kenner days. And that's me just being biased to the Kenner stuff because I grew up with the Kenner toys. I bought them when they came out. I still have them, and I love them. So a little bit of me is being biased and nostalgic for that. But Hasbro never did anything for Jurassic Park 3 to the level of the Hammond collection. The closest they came was in 2009, I think it was, when they did the Dave Silva dinosaurs. When they did those are probably pretty close to Hammond collection quality, I would say. The colors on them are pretty extreme, but yeah, the Hammond collection is the best thing that has happened for Jurassic toys, in my opinion, since the Kenner days. And I think if you're passing on all the other, if you want to buy some Mattel Jurassic stuff and pass on everything else, pass on the mainline stuff. Focus on the Hammond collection and Legacy collection, because Legacy collection is where you get the cool vehicles like the Jungle Explorer, like Roland Timbo's vehicle, like the Jeep Wranglers, like all that stuff. So I would, if somebody told me, hey, Victoria, I'm on a budget, I don't want to spend too much in Jurassic, but I do want to get into it, I would certainly say that go with the Hammond collection, be a completist with that. It's not a huge line yet. And also the Legacy collection, buy as much of that as you can, because I think you'll be in good shape if you just want to have some Jurassic but don't want to spend too much money. Those would be really good places to start. The vintage collection is the packaging. Without it, it's just the highly articulated figure line. Hey, Brett, good to see you. Yeah, totally. I mean, the vintage collection is the vintage collection because it's the vintage collection. It is right. There's nothing that can surpass that. There's nothing that can replace it. Hasbro has tried over the last, when did the modern line start? 1995. Power of the Force 2, Power of the Jedi, Episode 1, Saga, Original Trilogy Collection, Revenge of the Sith, the Saga Collection, 30th Anniversary Collection, the Legacy Collection, Shadows of the Dark Side, the Vintage Collection, the Black Series 3/4, and now back to the Vintage Collection. It always comes back to the Vintage Collection. And also they've tried all these looks that I just mentioned, and they've never duplicated how awesome this is. They've never gotten close to duplicating how awesome this is. So absolutely, Brett. If you do away with that, it's no longer the vintage collection. If you do away with that, it's no longer TVC. Absolutely. How are you doing tonight? Hey, Action Figure Expert, good to see you. I'm doing pretty well. I'm just ranting a little bit about TVC packaging. DS packaging is nuts. Diamond Select, yeah, it's like a whole big like plastic clamshell. Like, you talk about wasteful, like that's just. And then not only that, but then they have all these like twisty tie bands that you have to undo, and that takes like an hour to do. So come on. TVC should be the exception. It should. We all feel the same way for the most and best part. TVC is what it is for the right reasons. I didn't mean to twist the knife again, just as we have been. It's just frustrating. It is. And, I don't think it's twisting the knife. I think that it is important to be vocal when you're passionate about something. I mean, I know that there are so many other things going on in the world, and some things that are a lot more important than toys and plastic-free packaging and all that. But, we're here doing this live stream because these toys exist. We're here collecting these toys and interacting with each other because these toys exist. Star Wars Celebration is coming up in part because these toys exist. Like, everything grew from that original film. Everything grew from this original line look. So it's not twisting the knife. It's definitely something people should speak up and be vocal about, because if you just let it happen, it's going to happen. So I really hope that there's some way. I really hope there's some way around it, because we need to keep crossing our fingers. Hazard needs to do something about Attack of the Clones anniversary. Yeah, what's up with that? I mean, I really like what Hot Toys is doing with focusing on Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones is not my favorite Star Wars movie. It's not my favorite Star Wars movie. I still highly enjoy things about it. but they're, it's a Star Wars movie nonetheless, and it's still something that, 20 years is quite a milestone for one of these movies. I remember seeing the special editions in the movie theater when those came back out in 1997. That was 20 years. This is 20 years for AOTC, and Hasbro should definitely be commemorating it somehow. And that's not to say they won't. I mean, Celebration is still coming up. There's obviously um, more that's going to be happening with the Star Wars toy line, more announcements and such. But I do wish there was a little bit more at this point, because we're already in May. This is the month. This is Star Wars month. You got May the 4th, you got Star Wars Celebration, you got the Obi-Wan show. Like, this is the time to have announced toys from Attack of the Clones, figures from Attack of the Clones. Yeah, I know we're getting Anakin. We all know that they pipelined that forever ago, but this would have been the time. Attack of the Clones, I think, came out like on May, I don't remember, 19th, 2002, was it? A long time ago. I remember going to see it the first day it came out. And yeah, I mean, I think there should be more to commemorate. They have a beautiful logo that Lucasfilm did. Beautiful logo with the clone helmet. And I first saw it on some Celebration t-shirts. And now Hot Toys has it because they're doing like exclusive, like Attack of the Clones packaging. Like, that's wild. Nobody else is doing that. So, I mean, Hot Toys gets it. I wish that Hasbro was a little more proactive and not so like shy about the prequels, which they still seem to have a little bit of that prequel fear that they had, that everybody, all these companies seem, and everybody but the fans anyway, seem to have back in like 2013 to 2017 or 18 or whatever. So yeah, we need to get more Attack of the Clones for sure. What do you think about these amazing sauropod figures we are getting? Loving it myself, but they're getting out of hand. Yeah, so the Brachiosaurus is a work of art. Like, that is a beautiful toy. Like, you can't make that better than it is. The size it's in scale, which, imagine that one of the biggest dinosaurs of all time is in scale with a 3¾ inch line. Like, they didn't try to like make it smaller. It's in scale. That's freaking cool. The Apatosaurus is in scale. And now we have this Dreadnoughtus that's coming that's 5 feet long. Whoa, that's awesome. I don't know where I'm going to put it. I don't know where I'm going to put it. So I love seeing these sauropods. I love seeing that they're really investing in this toy line. And it's gotten so expansive, and they've really milked it. You got to admit, they've really milked this line over the last 4 years, and I'm sure it's paid dividends for them. But yeah, I cannot continue to keep getting these big dinosaurs. I don't know where to put them. I don't have room. Hammond Collection made a Jurassic collector out of me. Glad to hear that, Britt. Yeah, I remember you saying, I think in a recent stream, that you were buying the Hammond Collection. That's awesome. The Hammond Collection is the best thing that's come out for Jurassic toys since the 90s. I'm glad you're enjoying that. Keep TVC packaging the way it is. Yep, make it so. SWTVC, welcome. Good to see you, my friends. I'm not sure which of my friends this is, but great to see you nonetheless. That Hot Toys 20th logo is wonderful for Attack of the Clones. Yeah, it is. It's gorgeous. I love that logo. It's awesome. And we're going to be talking more about Hot Toys next week with the guests I'm going to have on the show next week, including the Attack of the Clones focus. Gunship should have happened this year. Absolutely. The prices of gunships are out of control. Any of the gunships, like in 2020, gosh, 5 years ago, they cost half of what they cost now. It's just outrageous. A vintage collection gunship goes for close to $1,000. The Crumb Bomber goes for like $500. The Lucky Laku goes for like $400. The Episode 3 gunship goes for $300. The one I have up here, the 2006 one, the Micro Series one, that one goes for almost $500. Even the original Attack of the Clones one, that one for a long time was like the least popular one that nobody really even cared about for a while. Like, even that one now, because the other ones are so expensive, people are going and they're buying the original gunship from 2002. and they're spending on that $200, $250. And these are for brand new pricing. You can get them open for less, sometimes missing parts. And there are lots of reproduction parts you can get. The command gunship sells for $200 to $250. Is that all? That's probably all of them. But yeah, there are so many. The prices are outrageous. They should have brought back the gunship. It should have happened already. This was the time. This is the time. If they should announce it at Celebration, I think people would be super happy. And it doesn't even need to be the same exact box. It doesn't need to be the same exact, like, it could be focused on Revenge of the Sith. They look the same in Revenge of the Sith anyway. So it could have Revenge of the Sith packaging and come with the bubble turrets, come with phase 2 clones, just not the skinny jeans clones that we have right here. Just not these guys. A new clone sculpt. No, that would never happen. But yeah, it's certainly something that needs to come out like already, because it's outrageous. The prices of these gunships it's outrageous. They really need to get that back out there. They really do. At this point, just release a set of Jedi cloaks and I'll accept it as an AOTC anniversary release. Yeah, the cloaks are super important. I mean, these are Jedi. They spend most of the movies like wearing the cloaks, don't they? Like Obi-Wan is wearing the cloak most of the time in Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith. I think Anakin is too for most of the time. So give us cloaks. The Patasaurus was cool. It just doesn't have the same magic as the Brachiosaurus. This is true. The Patasaurus isn't that good, honestly. I like the size of it, but if I'm honest, the Patasaurus isn't that good. It's just very disproportionate. It's not very realistic. It's very wonky. Like the neck is really fat. I don't love it, to be honest. I have it because it's cool and it's huge, but I don't think it's great or anything. The Brachiosaurus is way better. Crazy Eye Hasbro did much with the license, but Mattel never did much with the license, but Mattel about to make it an evergreen brand. So it's been ongoing for 4 years now, nonstop. It is an evergreen brand. It is something that continuously sells. I think it's one of their top performers. And what I really appreciate about the Mattel line is that they have kept pricing consistent. They've never raised the price at noticeable, hugely noticeable amounts. I think they've gone up maybe at $2. It's not like what you see with Hasbro stuff where the prices just go up and up and up and up and up. Mattel, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what magic formula they have or what sorcery they're employing, but they're keeping prices very consistent for 4 years. And, that's very admirable and that's really commendable. And that's very awesome for the consumer. So, all right, Tyler, good to know, Tyler. So I can tease you then about skinny jean clone troopers. Right? I can tease you about these guys. I say that after I ordered like 12 of them. Got held over at work, so I have some time to watch. Awesome. Well, glad you're here. Glad you're here, Tyler. Brontosaurus is the best dinosaur. You know it. I know it. We remember it. Stegosaurus is my favorite dinosaur. I love them all. There's no such thing as a bad dinosaur, but well, maybe Pachycephalosaurus is kind of weird. Message for SWTVC. I just hear happy beeps every time I see your name. The red canopy one. I think the black trim one is kind of rare. Are we talking the gunship? The black one, that is a command gunship. That was released in 2003 when the Micro Series line came out. And yeah, there weren't that many made. That is true. But the prices aren't as high as what you see for the other ones, like the Crumb Bomber, the Micro Series, the Lucky Laku, or Vintage Collection, obviously. Those are all usually more expensive. I think the Revenge of the Sith one's about the same price as well. Haslab gunship would be cool. I don't know that I would need that, to be honest. Like the gunship series, okay, the gunship is one of, if not my favorite Star Wars like toy vehicle like ever. I love it. I bought it back in 2000 when it came out. I bought it when it came out and I immediately fell in love with it. It has so many features. It's big, but it's not like dauntingly big. You can put it on a shelf and it's not going to it's a good size. Would it be cool if they did a bigger one? Sure. It would be very cool. I don't think it's really necessary though. I think if they just got it back out to the market with the bubble turrets, maybe with the sliding doors, the hanger doors, maybe what you do is you include both the vintage collection style one or the regular ones, and then the crumb bomber style ones, and you have the option of switching them out. That would be cool. And then the little side doors at the front, include those as options. That'd be like the definitive gunship if they did that. Darth Eddie, good to see you. Right now, there are a grand total 2 vintage collection figures from episode 2 on the market. Real photo updates of Obi-Wan and Mace Windu, and they're in a repack wave. Many haven't seen. So I just got the Obi-Wan actually I got the I got the Obi-Wan like a few weeks ago. Mace Windu came in this week. Forgot about Mace Windu. And his eyebrows look weird. I don't know if it's just mine, but like his eyebrows are like really big. Yeah. But yeah, we need more AOTC for sure. Did you start at new time? Yes, we have been going at 7 o'clock, starting last week at 7 o'clock instead of the usual 8 o'clock. Just to try it out, see what works better. What do you guys think? Do you prefer the 7 o'clock Pacific or do you prefer the 8 o'clock Pacific? I personally preferred the 8 o'clock, but I know that it was kind of late for some of my guests. And so I ended up changing the time to 7 o'clock Pacific. Let me know what you guys like. It's flexible. It's not like there's commercials here or anything. You know, there's no like schedule. It's not sponsored by like Radio Shack or like, I don't know, Mission Tortillas or anything like that. Also kind of crazy that they aren't milking the film that introduces clones to put out tons of repaints. Isn't that interesting too? All these clones that Hasbro's been focusing on in Black Series and TVC. And this is the film. This is the 20th anniversary of the film that introduced that to us. This is the 20th anniversary of some of these awesome vehicles like the gunship. You know, where is that stuff? Where is that stuff? So to change it up, I love to tell you, I will forever love the Jurassic Park 3 line, that yellow catcher truck and Billy with the parachute, that scuba guy, and the dinos with ripped flesh. Yeah, I can see if you have nostalgia for them. I personally don't because I didn't buy that line. I did buy the Kenner Jurassic Park line and a little bit of the Lost World line, but then by the time Jurassic Park 3 came around, I would have bought the toys then, but they sucked. They were terrible. They were terrible. And again, I don't mean to rain on your parade. If you appreciate those, it's not fair for me to take away from that. Nostalgia is a really weird thing. And you know, I know this personally because I've gone back and looked at episodes of the real Ghostbusters and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'm like, or Pee-wee's Playhouse. I'm like, what was I thinking as a kid? Some of these are bad. Pee-wee's Playhouse, my gosh, why did I love it so much as a kid? It's a crazy show. It's like the whole thing is something out of like a lucid trip or something. It's weird. Super weird. Haslab Rebels Ghost Ship with Rebels characters. Yeah, that would be cool. I know a lot of people want the Ghost. Like Rebels, I like Rebels. I don't love Rebels. I like the Clone Wars better, but I know a lot of people do want that ship, and I think Haslab would be the only way we could possibly get it. That'd be the perfect gunship. Glad you think so. I would love for that to happen. Yes, so the gunship came back with these upgrades I suggest. I'm sure it would easily cost, what, $200 at least, maybe probably more. Still be cheaper than eBay though, that's for sure. And I think they'd still sell pretty well. I really do. I'd buy another one. I have most of them. I would buy another one. Any Haslab going forward need to be long-standing want from the legacy collectors, or it's not going to make it. Yeah, Haslab is a weird thing, and you know, I think I appreciate that Hasbro tries different things with Haslab. I think they need to focus on what works. The vintage collection works. The Razor Crest, the Katana, like those are tried and true things that worked. A Black Series Haslab did not work. You know, Marvel Haslab seemed to do well. Cookie Monster does not. Sorry, Cookie Monster. And I think I commend them for trying new things. I really do. The proton pack, I backed that one because the proton pack is awesome. But I think at this point they've done enough of them that they really should try and hone in on what has proven to be successful. And I think anything in TVC, as long as it's something that is a want by a lot of people and something that is definitely not available any other way, they should try and fit that into Haslab for sure. The Death Star, like a cantina, like the actual cantina, the whole thing, the bars, the alcoves, the whole thing, with the outside of it done too. Imagine that. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. How much would a gunship retail for now? Yeah, so like I was just saying, I think like 200 plus. I think 200 at the minimum, and I think probably the maximum I would say would be like 250 or so. Could be more though. I mean, prices of everything is crazy. It's hard to predict. Hard to say. Have you noticed that Mattel kind of skipped out on the paint on the Dominion toys because some of them don't look good? This isn't a new phenomenon, actually. They've been doing this since 2018 when the Fallen Kingdom line came out. A lot of them just lack paint. And, again, they've done a really good job of keeping prices steady. So I can't really fault them for taking what essentially was a non-existent toy line that had basically been written off as a has-been and something that wasn't going to, be popular in stores, to creating this evergreen toy line that has consistently had a shelf presence, that has consistently sold through, that has consistently, in terms of distribution, been pretty easy to locate, that has had steady prices. Like, and not only do the prices not go up on the Mattel stuff very much, but what you get for your money, I think, in some cases is just astonishingly good. Like we were talking about that Brachiosaurus, $50. If Hasbro made that, like there's no way that would cost $50. I can tell you that. So I think they should be commended on a lot of what they've done. For the paint, it just really depends. If you're talking like wild packs, the little $8 dudes, or like the $10 ones, like, yeah, or even like the $15 ones, the ones that make sounds and stuff. That's kind of expected, I guess. I think they should focus on going all out on the Hammond collection. That's what they seem to be doing. And then anything at $20 or above, I think should have a more concerted effort on paint. So, but I think they're doing good overall. 2013's gunship was about 159 years ago, and I'll tell you how expensive a release would be in today's market. Yeah, it'd probably be $300 even. I don't even know. Bring back the ATT E2. Yeah, okay, so that's another one, right? That was introduced in Attack of the Clones too. That would be cool. That would be really cool. As long as the legs on it don't fall off. That would be cool. Collector 1970, you are not late. Nobody's ever late. You're whenever you come in is the perfect time. Collector 1970, always the perfect time. Remember when the first 3 gunships were only $29.99? The first one in 2002, I believe, was $40. And then the command gunship was $30. But that is crazy. The Revenge of the Sith one was $30. Like, whoa. Like, talk about like appreciation in prices. Like, my gosh, if you had bought like 10 gunships just of each one, like just going off as investments, imagine how many thousands of dollars you could stand to make. I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying, like, if you did that, you'd have a lot of gunships. You'd go on a really nice vacation. Smugglers Run BMF really seemed to do quite well. It did. It kept selling out. Anytime it went back in stock, it would sell out. So it did fine, and it was online. I think they could do that with the gunship. It doesn't need to be in stores. I mean, it could be, and that'd be cool, but it could be an online thing, like a Target exclusive, like the Falcon. That'd be perfect. I'd love that. 20th of AOTC, give us a Count Dooku. Where is Count Dooku? So, all right, this is going to be, I know everybody's going to love this. I'm not in a hurry to get Count Dooku, and the only reason I'm not in a hurry to get well, maybe I should be with plastic-free packaging, but the only reason like Count Dooku isn't a personal priority for me is because I think that the figures they did were ahead of their time. They were outstanding in 2005. The Revenge of the Sith one. The $5 figure is great. Still holds up. It's got an awesome Christopher Lee likeness. The Evolutions one is a great figure. Those hold up really well. So I'm not in a hurry for Dooku. I'm more in a hurry for things I don't have. Asajj Ventress, Pre Vizsla. Okay, I have the animated one, but I don't have a live action one. The Tonica sisters, like stuff that I don't have. Like that's what I want first. But I also want like any original 96 stuff like to be released before next year because of the packaging change. But yeah, so anyway, Dooku would be great. I think we could stand to have a new Dooku. I mean, Attack of the Clones 20th anniversary. This is the time for Dooku. Yeah. And I'm a little surprised he hasn't been in TVC after all these years, but for me personally, maybe it is a hot take, like Dooku isn't like a priority for me because I do love the older figures. I still want him, don't get me wrong. It's just not something that's like at the front of my list. Pouring one out for Rancor and Cookie Monster. Give us a Haslab Republic gunship. Hey, Tim, how's it going? I'll pay $400 as long as it's the same size as the Razor Crest. Yeah, so I think if they did a Haslab gunship, it would have to be the size of the Razor Crest or bigger. Yeah. Again, we have gunships. I wouldn't want them to do a Haslab on a gunship because we already have that. I'd rather have a gunship as something I don't have. The Cantina, the Death Star, the Emperor's Throne Room, anything like that would be exciting. I'd kit bash the 2005 Dooku and 2010 Target Geonosis 2-pack body, give it a new real photo, paint apps, and release them on a finished card. That would be good, but even better would be to use the digital assets for the Black Series Dooku, because that figure is, even if you don't collect Black Series, that figure is one of the best Black Series figures. Use that digital asset and bring it down to 3 3/4, redo the articulation, it'd be perfect. That would be a definitive Count Dooku. I do like that idea, though. Jason, how is it going? Good to see you, Jason. Save TVC bubble. I agree. I agree with Count. It's the characters we are missing. Yep, totally. We're missing a lot of characters, for sure. They should do a Haslab of the gunships that can carry ATTEs and make it so that it can carry... Oh, man. Can you imagine how big that would be? I think I hiccuped or laughed something. Yeah, that would be insane. It would be like for it to be able to carry an ATT. The ATT, if you have it, it's big. That thing would have to be like at least, I would say at least 1/3 to 2/3 bigger than the ATTE. And yeah, that would be cool. But it would need to come with the ATTE is the only way I could see it being a thing. It would need to come with the ATTE, a better ATTE with better legs that don't fall off. But again, priorities, right? Is that something we would want over a Cantina? Is that something we'd want over a Death Star? Just depends. How about this? So they figure us a Haslab gunship, it needs to be able to modify to become a dropship for the ATTE. So yeah, thinking along those lines, yeah, that is a possibility as well. Maybe that's doable. At the very least, even if it's not a new figure and it's just a straight repack, Dooku needs to be on a card before plastic repackaging. Yeah. Again, you guys, plastic-free packaging. There needs to be concerted movement, concerted effort to preserve TVC. I said it earlier, we preserve things that have historical and cultural significance. There's markers up like in front of historical houses. There's Graceland. There's certain things that cannot be touched or modified because they are recognized as historically and culturally significant. I think TVC, this aesthetic, this packaging has been around now for 40 plus years. I think that it has contributed just as much to pop culture, to collectors, to toys, to Star Wars. as a lot of other things that are protected. So maybe we can get some sort of a status granted for TVC. I don't think it's impossible. I know it's an out there idea, but if we can protect other things, why can't there be an assigned cultural significance so that that has to be maintained that way? I don't know. If it came with the ATT, that would be like $800, but I'd still buy it. Of course you would. I would too. I totally would. When I was a kid and AOTC came out, and I had every single Lego set except the ATT. Very cool. Sounds like your AD has some ATT has some leg issues for me. I never had that problem. So the first ATTs that came out did have problems with the legs being kind of unstable, and Hasbro actually, if you bought an ATT, you could claim with their customer service to get replacement legs, and they sent out replacement legs if you made the claim through them. So it was an issue. It was a common and known issue. So if you buy one like brand new in the box from eBay, it's probably going to come with the bad legs on it. I don't know that they ever did a running change on it because the ATTE wasn't in stores for that long. I think it was only in stores from 2008 to 2009. So yeah, I don't know how you would be able to tell if it had the new legs or the old legs, other than taking out of the box and seeing how durable they were. And I don't know that anybody is selling like on eBay just the legs by themselves, where you can actually say, oh, these are the replacement legs for the ATTE. With the packaging inevitably changing, 96 has become my priority with the classic card look. Yeah, the original 96, that needs to, we only have a limited amount of time. We need to get those out there. But, I keep going back to this. They can't rush it. They rushed Endor Leia. They rushed Endor Han. Anything original 96 needs to be and deserves to be definitive at this point in time. I don't mind waiting to get definitive versions of those characters. But I understand we're also up against the clock with PFP. So, I don't know that we have much of a choice. It's either get them all now, and maybe they're not definitive because they're figures from 2006 or something, or we wait and we get a better version. I don't know what their plans are. Honestly, this whole plastic-free thing has really screwed everything up. It really has. It's terrible. I'm surprised they never got a recolored ATT or a recolored turbo tank. Yeah, I had hopes for a while because the turbo tank does show up in Rogue One, so I had hopes for a bit that they would get that back out there, but they never did. I don't know if you can see. It's like right there. You can see a little bit of the turbo tank right there. It's awesome. It's an awesome vehicle. And yeah, it holds a lot of clones. That's what I liked about it the most. I still need the turbo tank. Yep, very expensive now, but yeah. If you want something bad enough, don't let prices on eBay be a deterrent, because you never know that Hasbro is ever going to release any of these things. So if you want something, save up for it, and within reason, right? Responsibly, buy it. Don't. I don't think there's any shame at this point in feeling guilty for spending $400 on a turbo tank, because chances are it's never going to be made again, and that's the only way to get it. And it's probably only going to keep going up and up and up in price. So I know sometimes it's like, ouch, I spent that much for this or this much for that. But if you enjoy it, it's something you're going to have and cherish and love in your collection, then I don't think you can really put a price on that. So I would say, get it while the getting's good. Pyramids were actually culturally significant. Animal sacrifices, culturally significant. Things changed. I agree, it's sad, but what are you going to do? Well, there's a lot that can be done. There's a lot that can be done. For sure. I think, there can be a push across the fandom, across collectors. Maybe we, at Star Wars Celebration, we stand out there with old school with a petition and have people sign it. Do not change the packaging on the vintage collection. Anyone want to do that? Volunteer to do that? I'm going to be busy, but I'll sign it if anybody wants to do that. And yeah, that could be something though. Somebody could be at Celebration and like getting signatures. You stand right outside the Hasbro booth and get signatures. That'd be interesting. What are your thoughts on the Jedi Turbo Speeder? I would love for Hasbro to release that again, maybe in a blue color. Yeah, that's like $150 on eBay. It's okay. I don't think it's the most exciting vehicle, but what did it show up in, like 1 or 2 episodes of Clone Wars? But it's cool. It's in the Republic colors, right? So like the gray and the like maroon color. So it's nice. I do like it. But it's not. I don't think it's. If you were trying to be a little more focused, I don't think that'd be a priority for me personally. But I do like it, and I don't think they're ever going to bring that back. So again, blue, yeah, that'd be cool, but no. Vintage look has been around 44 years. They shouldn't be allowed to change it. The thing is, Hasbro is Hasbro, right? I mean, they can basically do whatever they want, and they could kill off the Star Wars line or not renew the license for the Star Wars line. There's not really anything we could do about that. They basically have the power to do whatever they want. Does that mean it? Just because they can do something doesn't mean that they should necessarily. And I think this is one thing. Like, once it's gone, it's gone. Once TVC is changed, it's not TVC anymore. It's something else. So again, the vintage collection is the vintage collection because it's the vintage collection. So you can't mess with that formula. It's got to be the original, the real thing, the real thing. Again, often duplicated, often imitated, never duplicated. That's what's been going on there. Kenner TVC is 40 years old. The card back in bubble is iconic and just as important as the figures. For many of us, Hasbro give TVC special exemption. They really should have sought a special exemption for TVC. And you know what? I'm actually kind of a little surprised maybe that Lucasfilm didn't kind of intervene here and say, as part of the license, you got to keep the look consistent. Do they have that authority? I would think so, being the licensor, that they could tell the licensee. I mean, they do dictate to some extent what Hasbro does, so I don't see why that would not apply to packaging. So maybe Lucasfilm is our only hope at this point. Maybe it needs to come from Lucasfilm that they need to maintain the consistent heritage look to the packaging. Maybe that'd be our saving grace. I don't know. I do not know. Agreed on not rushing it. I'll be pissed if they do a straight repack of the Biker Scatter Snow Trooper just to check those boxes. Please no. Please no. Please don't bring those back. Yeah, please don't. I hope they don't bring those back. I'm not going to feel sad if retro collection with bubbles is no longer produced. The vintage needs to reach a bare minimum of 300 number figures before they try something. So I don't think anything touches the vintage collection, honestly. Again, Hasbro has done so many lines over the years, and none of them has ever come close to the aesthetic of the vintage collection, to the history of the vintage collection. That said, if you were getting into the vintage collection today and you have to catch up on 200 figures, if you wanted to, and the vehicles, that would be a daunting task. Sometimes I wonder if a reset would make sense. But then I go back to what makes the vintage collection what it is. And it needs to remain consistent. It needs to keep going. Somebody mentioned in the comments earlier, like if they changed the formula of the packaging, then it's basically just the legacy collection or something else. And that's basically true. You could brand it whatever you want to call it, but if it doesn't have the look of what it's supposed to be mimicking, what it's supposed to be, then it's not that thing anymore, right? It's not. I appreciate the inclusion. Got to go back to work. So with that, to the host and everyone here, love you and thank you. Long live the vintage collection and our toys and passions. Cool. Thank you, Jesse, for hanging out. You had some really excellent questions, and those are fun to discuss and talk about here. I bought the Legacy BMF a few months before this. I remember this before the Smugglers Run Falcon was announced for like $460. I don't regret it because there was no guarantee that was ever going to come back out. There's never a guarantee. There's never a guarantee. And that's the thing. If you really want something, buy it. I know the prices on some of these things on eBay are outrageous, but most of this stuff is never going to be released. Most of it is never going to go lower in price than what it is already. And we only live once, as far as we know, and life's short. Buy the vehicle, buy the turbo tank or the Millennium Falcon or the gunship, because you got to enjoy this stuff. You got to enjoy this stuff while you can. I recently got the XR Kuhn and Ulick comic 2-pack for a good deal. The EU shelf is almost complete. Very nice. Very nice. Comic packs, right? Great idea regarding getting signatures at Celebration. Yeah, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. I mean, I would do it, but yeah, that'd probably take a lot of time. But I would help do it for sure. I would if that was a thing, I would take turns. Maybe I would do it for like a little while. It's an environmental issue. Now reformulating the plastic to non-toxic base got to be something that will be acceptable. Yeah. There are other solutions. We're constantly creating packaging out of things that are biodegradable and things that are more easily, they decompose more easily. And I think you could create a plastic, that maybe is a little bit more environmentally friendly to some extent. So I think there are possibilities and options, but Hasbro is just kind of in this rush to do this, just to be the first toy company to say that they did it. I mean, that's really what it is. That's really what it is. If you're the first to do something, you're always the first, right? Everybody else is going to be second, third, fourth, fifth. And I think that's what it is at this point. It's a mad dash to be the first to say that there's no plastic in the packaging. Hasbro can do two things to satisfy me. Cutouts in the new 6-inch Black Series boxes so we can see what we're buying, and keeping bubbles on vintage. Just let us have a look at 6-inch and TVC. Yeah. I feel like you have to see the toy. I know that we don't see the toys on vehicles, right? We don't see the toys usually. We don't see the toys on play sets a lot of the time, but I feel like for figures, you have to be able to see what you're buying. Not just for reasons regarding paint in QC, but I think like you have to be able to see what you're buying, I think, when it comes to stuff like that. It's not like a microwave where it's in a box, and you're getting a microwave. Like, this is different. This is more of a hobby, collector hobby. There will not be a TVC 3.0. This is it. Yep, this is it. It's never gonna the day that TVC goes away, I don't think it's gonna come back. And I think that's why we should never hope for them to reset the line. As much sense as that could make in some respects, like I was saying, a new collector maybe getting into a line that's been going on for 10 plus years, 200 plus figures. That's a daunting experience, but I don't think that it's something to, at this stage in the game, I think it's too important to do that. I think that, again, if you really, 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 really want something, you can go back and get it. That doesn't mean you have to collect them all on card. I mean, I would love to have a complete TVC carded collection. I only have a few of the figures from TVC 1.0. Maybe I have like 15 of them, but I'd love to have a complete set. But back then I was just buying to open. So, and I'm okay with that. I'm not mad about it or anything. It's just, it is what it is. If I wanted to go back and buy extras to keep carded now, could I do that? Sure. Would it be insanely expensive? Yes, it would. But if I wanted to, I could do that. I have that option. I'm hoping they don't go with the Marvel Legends style and have digital renders as the art box. At least give us an actual photo, at least, right? But just not on TVC. I don't want to see a photo of the figure, like, and that's what it's really going to be, though. If it's plastic-free cardboard packaging, that's really all it can be. Is like, it's going to look like those comics, right? That they do the special like releases for, and it's like it looks like a Kenner packaging comic. It's going to look like that, I think, sadly. Boss Bounty had a good idea as a loophole where Hasbro could ship TVC bubble cards in a plain white mailer box and then say the bubble card back is the product and not the packaging. I think I did say that too a while back. I suggested that. I don't know if it was in a live stream or on podcast. I know me and Tyler here, SWTVC, did a podcast episode in January about this whole plastic-free packaging and just kind of sounding the alarm a little bit about, hey, this is coming. How's it going to affect the line? What are we going to do? But yeah, that technically, because TVC, we say that the product is part of the packaging. I mean, yeah, if the product is part of the packaging, you could put a white sleeve on it like they do with some of the Amazon exclusives, and then call that the packaging and then say, oh, it is plastic free. What's inside is the product. I think that is one way to get around that. I still maintain that. But yeah, will they do that? I doubt it. I seriously doubt it, but technically it would work. I really love the Death Watch figures that are coming out. Yeah, more Mandos, please. I'm not oversaturated. I don't feel oversaturated in Mandos. I know there's a lot in pre-order. Give me more. Give me more from Clone Wars. I have the Mandalorian gunship vehicle. Or I think that's what it's called, the Mandalorian shuttle, or whatever it is. And right now I have like the Clone Wars Mandos like around it with Pre Vizsla leading them. And I love it. And I love those figures. But once those realistic versions come out, I'm totally switching them out for those instead. So I hope that we do get the Pre Vizsla so that we can kind of finish that off. I think we will at some point. I think we will. Bummer that Hasbro won't continue with Star Wars Black Series vintage packaging. Still need Return of the Jedi wave. Yeah, we're not going to see that. Unfortunately, I mean, I didn't buy those, but I did buy some of them, but I know some people did buy the whole carded set of A New Hope 30th or 40th anniversary, and then they bought the Empire 40th anniversary Black Series. I mean, maybe if they do it early enough next year, they could sneak them in. It's always a possibility they can do that, and that'll be the last time you see Kenner packaging in the Black Series. I wouldn't say that it's not going to happen. I wouldn't say that it's impossible. I think that if they did it early enough in the year, they could totally do it. There's no reason they couldn't do that in January or February. I think it could happen. Would I miss it one way or the other? Not really, because I don't really buy those. But if you do, then I can see, how if I was buying them, I could see how it would murder my OCD. Like seriously, to not have like the matching sets. The figures are made of plastic, most remain on bubble, and the rest gets put in a recycling bin. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, my stuff, half of my stuff goes on the wall, so it's not going in a landfill. It's not going out. It's not leaving my house. It's not hurting the environment. And then the other half that I have to recycle. The ones that I do open, I have to recycle. Like that's the law. I have to recycle. If I don't, then I could get fined for not recycling. So it's a non-issue for me. But aesthetics and all that. I love the turbo tank so much. I was the first one to have reviewed it on YouTube. Oh, really? Link me that review, Action Figure Expert. I'd love to check that out. JJ, good to see you. If anyone watched Kabash on YouTube, he had a good and reasonable idea for the whole plastic TVC concern. Okay, link me that if you don't mind, JJ. I'll check that out as well. There are plastics that are almost infinitely recyclable, but it costs orders of magnitude more. Will you want to pay 5 times as much for a figure just for the package? Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons they wouldn't do that. And I've jokingly said they could move to glass if they wanted to. I mean, because it'd still be like a clear bubble. But yeah, it's, cost is obviously a huge factor here. There are some hardcore collectors that would pay a lot more to keep the packaging as it was. But if it came down to like a $40 basic figure, would you pay $40 for this? I mean, how many people would? Like, not many. Well, I hate it. 2 liters of milk in plastic bottle I throw out every day is more than a wave. It's every month. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got to think about that too. I mean, there are so many other contributors to waste, plastic waste, than action figure packaging. Milk jugs, containers for like takeout food. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that just goes into the trash. And I think like when you're talking about TVC, you're talking about such a minuscule percentage of the plastic that is affecting the environment in some way. So it's really quite asinine, honestly, to pretend that that's like a solution to protecting the environment. As important as that is, getting rid of these bubbles is not going to have an effect on that almost at all. Like, it really is not. It's just, like I said, it's aesthetics. It's being the first to say you did that, aesthetics. So does no plastic mean no more hook tags on 6-inch figure boxes? How do they expect to stock all these? That is a good question, Eddie. I hadn't thought about that one. Maybe it's a cardboard hook. Maybe that's what they moved to. I hadn't thought about that though. Yeah, it had to be cardboard. I think it's the only way they could do it. The TVC is going away because everything cool and awesome gets taken away from us. It's a given, just like awesome TV shows. Yeah, but some things are everlasting, right? I mean, the vintage collection is obviously everlasting. That packaging, I keep saying it, frequently imitated, never duplicated. It is its own thing. It is perhaps the most recognizable toy packaging, product packaging that has ever existed. So I think there is huge cultural and historical significance in that. And I think there are potentially ways to protect that. But yeah, a lot of things do come and go. And I hope that these little plastic people that we like aren't one of them. If you had to put it in a box, just don't call it the vintage collection. I'm cool. So if they do that, the vintage collections, the 3 3/4 scale is going to be gone. There aren't a ton. Honestly, there aren't a ton of people buying these. There's enough that the line has very slowly made gains in terms of everything that it's become. It's the figures are better than ever. There's more people buying it now than there were, a few years back, and it's just it's at peak Star Wars action figure. It really is. It really is. And I think that half of the people that are buying it and interested in packaging are buying 2, 3, 4. So I think if you do change the packaging at this point in the game, that could be very detrimental to the well-being of the line, because you wouldn't be selling the quantities that you are now. And then we end up back where we started in 2012, 2013, when they did away with TVC. So it's yeah, I don't think that would be the way to go. All right. All right. Very cool, Tyler. Thanks for hanging out with us this evening. It's been fun. The comments have been great. Thanks for hanging out with me. Appreciate it. Let's talk soon. This is the way. Absolutely. TVC is the way. TVC is the way. Being the first isn't all it's cracked up to be. I mean, I'm sure the guy who was the first to stick a fork in a electro socket can tell you that. Yeah, I think you're right about that one, Jason. A friend noticed we have no vintage collection pipeline reveals past the wave with episode 2 Anakin. That makes me wonder if they're holding back on more reveals until they ruin the vintage packaging. Eddie could very well be. I think anything goes at this point. There aren't any certainties at this point other than the fact that this packaging is coming. That's the only certainty we have. Beyond that, I don't know. We can only speculate like we're doing now. That's all we can do. We can speculate. Shame TVC has finally gotten enough collectors to be a healthy line. Changing packaging will kill the line off. Yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. it's been a very, very, very slow churn to get us to this point where the line is doing well. It's doing better than it's done. It is in a really good spot. The quality of the figures, and again, not all of them are top notch, but many of them coming out are. The vehicles, the play sets, all that's the other stuff is great. The figures though, that's where most of it is at, is the focus is at. They're better than they've ever been, ever. And does the packaging have much to do with that specifically? No, of course not. The packaging doesn't affect the quality of the figure, but the packaging is part of the product. And that's the whole point with TVC. That's what sets it apart from Marvel Legends. That's what sets it apart from Black Series. And I know some people buy those to keep packaged. I'm not oblivious to that, but TVC is a unique and special case, and I think it deserves, the vintage collection deserves more respect, should be treated with more respect. It's like Luke says, the Jedi's weapon should be treated with more respect, or whatever he says. Same with the vintage collection. Hasbro does away with the packaging, then I think it's over. I still can't believe that we're having this conversation. Yeah. Trust me, I'm tired of talking about plastic-free packaging. It's been the big focus in the Star Wars collecting community for the last few weeks, but it is a concern, and it is a valid concern, and it is an important conversation to keep having. JJ, yeah, I feel the same. Sorry, not sorry. It's a deal breaker for me. Yeah. Yeah, and there are polls that demonstrate this. The Facebook, the Vintage Collection Facebook group, huge group. I think it's like 20,000+ members now or more. I'm a lot of people. And then the SWTVC Instagram, they both did polling on how low sales, how much collectors would stop buying if packaging changed. And if that data is true, then the effect on these figures is going to be extremely catastrophic. And that's not just speaking to the vintage collection itself. The vintage collection is just a small part of this. You're talking about the 3 3/4-inch Star Wars action figure line, the line that started back in 1978, that those of us who have been doing this for a long time, collecting these, have seen that evolution, that progression, the ups, the downs, all the different toy lines that the 3 3/4-inch Star Wars line has had over the years. It's gonna, yeah. And maybe that's the real takeaway should be here. If the vintage collection packaging gets redone and re-released under a new aesthetic, that, as critical as that is, that's not the bigger issue. The bigger issue is 3 3/4-inch Star Wars figures, period. If you're selling 50% of these figures that you're selling today because of this packaging change, 50% less, that's catastrophic. That means that this scale is gone. Maybe we're back to 5 POA, but it's gone. It's gone. There's no other way. It's simple. It's simple. It's math. It's just simple math. Think back to when TVC first came out back in the day. It's part of the presentation and product, and they know it. They will lose a lot of customers. It's like a ticking time bomb. My perception of all this is that Hasbro has to be aware of the effects this will have on the line. I always think of this really ridiculous line that Batman says in The Dark Knight Rises. He said, I don't even remember what he's talking about, but he's like, they know, they just don't care. Like, it's kind of the same thing. I feel like Hasbro has to see the iceberg approaching. Will they steer the Titanic out of the way before they make contact with that iceberg? Or will they be too concerned with the aesthetics of being the first to eliminate plastic from packaging across their entire brand? You hit that iceberg, you're going to sink. And I think that's where we're at. And I think Hasbro is aware of that. I think that unfortunately at this point, the people that could potentially halt this process don't care anymore. I think that they are too absorbed with the other 90% of stuff that Hasbro makes, that they just see this as collateral damage. And if that's the perception that Hasbro has at the top of the food chain, then that is absolutely sad. That is tragically sad. That's not only is it sad, it just shows that, such folks could be tone deaf to their audience. And I think that's part of the issue that occurs when you don't have people that know the history of these toys, people that engage in these toys, people that collect these toys, having significant roles in these companies. To sell a product, you have to know the product, you have to know your customer. And I feel like this mandate, this plastic free mandate is going to be catastrophic. And it's tough. I mean, again, are there more important fish to fry in the world? Yes, of course. Are there more significant issues? Of course. But the reason we're here having this live stream, the reason this YouTube channel exists, the reason that, whatever amount of people are subscribed to this channel, care to be subscribed to this channel, are subscribed to this channel, is because of these toys. It's important to us. And if it's important to us, then, it obviously matters. It obviously matters. I only started collecting again when ICTVC packaging was back. I didn't collect other 3/4-inch lines. Yeah, so that tells you right there that this packaging speaks to a lot of people. It speaks to a lot of people. And it's not just the figures. The packaging does absolutely have an effect. That's the reason that you have all these focus groups, and the reason that you have all this market research and data pointing to what colors to put on packaging, pointing to what the dimensions and such should look like. They have information to support this. And I think they need to rely on it. We did blindly pay $250 for a Jabba's palace without confirming the packaging the figure will be in. Bib in a box. Yeah, so that one, I think it sounded, I believe Emily said on one of the Q&As that the bib will be on like the on a card, a blister card. I think she gave the example of the Maldo Kreese Mandalorian, the Walmart exclusive. So I think that's how that's going to look. It's my understanding. At this point, it's all about fake PR perception. Well, it's definitely about perception. Hey, Manic Mike, the plastic isn't the issue. It's the recycling process that it's hard to recycle it. It's packaging industry issue. So yeah, if that is the issue, and I have heard this before, I have seen this before. It is a real concern, but it's kind of like shooting the messenger, right? Almost, it's like, figure the solution out at in that industry. Why does this other tiny thing that's having almost a net zero impact on this issue being punished for something that is totally unrelated, something totally related to a different industry that needs to get their stuff in order? Like that, to me, that's just crazy. Moving on to less desperate talk, what current pre-order TVC figure and TBS figure are you most excited about getting? For TVC, I would say there have been so many lately that I can't even remember how many are outstanding right now. I'm looking forward to the new Anakin from Attack of the Clones. I know I have that figure, but I'm looking forward to getting him again with the new cloak and the photo reel. Gosh, what else is coming out, you guys? I don't even know anymore. I just pre-order the stuff and then I wait for it to arrive. For Black Series, same. I mean, I don't think there's anything for Black Series I'm like really that excited about, to be honest. Not really. For TVC, though, I can tell you I do want more Cantina stuff. I want more Jabba's Palace stuff. I want more Clone Wars. Maybe a couple of prequel things. Finish Rogue One, more solo stuff. I love that. As long as Hasbro's making money, they don't care. Well, they're going to make a little bit less once they kill off 3 1/4. Fairly progressive, but this is no plastic drive from one toy company when Mattel and others aren't doing the same. It's just feel good. Pure. Yep, that's what I mean. This is just aesthetics. This is just about being the first to say that your packaging for your multi-billion-dollar company, one of the biggest toy corporations in the whole world, isn't including plastic in their packaging. That's all it is. And again, there are merits to that, but I really don't see anything that shows me that it's anything other than that. It's not that it's anything other than PR. If it were anything other than PR, I think they would let the vintage collection remain as is. I honestly do. What Hasbro is probably thinking is that if they start new packaging for something, they will also gain new collectors and new customers. You got to think about the overall effect, though. If you sell 50% less units because TVC collectors aren't buying carded anymore, and then you have 10% new customers coming in to buy the figures, that's still a 40% loss in business. So they really need to be looking at it in terms of the drop in sales. And again, I really do think they're aware of the effect that this will have on Star Wars packaging. But I feel like we're past the point where it's ultimately going to matter, and that the people that maybe are making this toy line specifically maybe aren't in positions to petition against the change for TVC, or they're not willing to for whatever reason. They weren't just giving a license, they were giving history. Yeah. And they clearly won't respect that if they do away with bubbles. So, the Star Wars license is expensive because it's the Star Wars license, right? It's the most expensive merchandising license in the world, in the industry. Hasbro pays a lot of licensing fees to Lucasfilm to make this stuff. And the reason it costs that much, and the reason they do that and continue to do that, is because this is a world recognized brand. This is a line of toys, any scale, that's beloved by people and generations across the world. And there's a lot of history here. There's a lot of cultural significance here. It's super important. When and if Hasbro goes away with all plastic, will it make the plastic figures packaging more collectible? Yeah, I think anytime you're not making something anymore, there is the possibility that you might see a surge in demand for some of that stuff. Not all of it. If you look at TVC 1.0, some of those are so expensive these days. Commander Cody, General Grievous, Darth Sidious, Anakin Skywalker from Revenge of the Sith, Princess Leia and Hut Slayer outfit. There's so many of them that fetch $100+ on card. I don't think that's going to change when the packaging changes per se, but I think you will see more of a scramble of people trying to buy more than they normally would before that change occurs. And I think you will also see people selling stuff off when they see that people are kind of panicking about that. This will ruin the vintage style G.I. Joe figures like it will Star Wars 3 3/4. Joes are also associated with 80s Hasbro card backs with plastic bubbles. Yep. Dark Trooper. Yeah, I forgot about the Dark Trooper. Yeah, that'll be one to look forward to. Let's all keep coming together for Nerdzoic, right? Figure and Dan is coming out both TVC and Black Series. Yep, I forgot. Yep, that is true. Figure and Dan. Black Series, I can't wait for the Droids Fett. For TVC, I can't wait for the Droids Boba Fett. And the Best Spin Guards. Oh, yeah, the Best Spin Guards. I'm excited for the Best Spin Guards. Totally. If you took the plastic windows out of Jurassic Park toys, it would severely damage those lines. Only dinos and open boxes where you can touch them wouldn't be affected. Yeah, so that's an interesting one. Because the Kenner Jurassic Park, the big dinosaurs didn't have windows in the US. I think in the UK they did have windows. But like the big red T-Rex, the Triceratops, the Stegosaurus, none of those had windows. You could actually reach in, and they wanted you to do that because those dinosaurs had a real feel skin. They were soft, and they were calling it real feel skin. They wanted you to reach in there and touch it, and that would make you want to buy it, I guess. And it did. For me, it totally did. It totally worked. Um, but yeah, generally you want to have your stuff protected. A lot of things happen in the toy aisle. A lot of unspeakable things seem to happen in the toy aisle. And I know this because I find figures and stuff with open where you can actually touch the stuff and it's like destroyed or missing parts and stuff. So yeah, it still happens, even though they make a lot of stuff like that still. Mafex is the new galaxy for the Star Wars action figure line, no doubt about it. Yeah, I have quite a few of the Mafex figures. I do like them quite a bit. Especially the more recent stuff, like the Boba Fett's outstanding. The new Mandalorian is really nice. Captain Phasma is really nice. They have some really nice stuff, and figure arts too. I have both. I have quite a few of both of those lines, and I do enjoy them quite a bit. Mr. Lucas is the true kingpin here, but he bet against himself and came out with mounds of profits. Maybe George Lucas could end plastic free packaging for I doubt it. I doubt he would even care, honestly. He probably would not even care. But yeah, maybe he could. Do we really think the company behind the Black Series rank or Haslab product is really going to do a smart decision like keeping the bubbles? Kids are nasty, well, so are adults. So who wants something someone has had their grubby hands all over? Shutter. Yeah. I don't like buying things that have been handled, and I usually don't even buy used stuff like on eBay, like toys, for that reason. I like to be the first to open it, the first to interact with it, the first to like manipulate the articulation and stuff. So that's me. I know not everybody's like that, but I am a weirdo, and that's why. Well, guys, we have been going an hour and a half, and I know we could keep going. We could keep talking about plastic-free packaging and all these other things. I did say that I would open a figure on the stream. Let me know in the comments which of these you want me to open. So we have Yoda, we have 501st Trooper, we have Fennec Shand, we have Ahsoka Tano, we have the Death Watch Mandalorian. Let me know which one you guys want me to open. I'll open one of these right now. But yeah, all of these look great. All these new figures look great. I'm not so excited about the Yoda, like I said earlier in the stream, or the Clone Trooper, because I kind of already know what I'm getting there, and they're not necessarily the best iterations of those characters. But I will open one if you guys say to. But I'm not. I hope you guys don't vote for those, because I don't really want to open them yet. But yeah, Fennec would be cool. Ahsoka would be cool, or the Mando would be cool. Whatever you guys think. Okay, I see a Yoda, of course. I see a couple of votes for Death Watch. A few votes for Death Watch. All right. I mean, these all look fantastic. These all look fantastic, quite seriously. But whatever you guys say, I will make sure to unbox here. I got 4 of the Death Watch Mando from Dork Side a week ago and a half ago. I was shocked. Nice, very nice. Judge him by. I don't judge Yoda by his size. I judge the figure by its quality, though. Okay, a lot of votes for Death Watch. So let's go with Death Watch Mando. All right, we're going to open the Death Watch Mando right here. Good choice, you guys. Good choice. I'm excited about this one. Or do you want to see? I know my friend John Miko does that one-handed crush thing. I'm not as brutal as he is with his packages. I don't even know if I have the talent to do a one-handed crush. Okay, here's the figure. There he is. He's free. Let's take out the accessories. I wonder if they're going to do away with tape. Like they have, like tape is made out of plastic, right? Are they going to do away with tape too? What do you guys think? Here's a little pistol. It's going to be hard to see this stuff. Here is a little pistol right there. Itty bitty. And he also comes with It's a larger style rifle. Here, let me set this bubble, this very harmful bubble. Let me set it across the desk. It comes with this one too. And then here is the figure. As you can see, the rangefinder is articulated. Look at that sculpt. That is a good looking figure. Very proportionate. Very awesome. Very cool. I really like this. See, I can move his head. The head moves nicely. Almost looks like there's like a helmet, like a head under there. I know it's going to be really hard for you guys to see that, but it almost looks like there's a head under there. The arms, they do move up, down, out. Let's look at the elbow movement, see what that looks like. Yeah, look at that. More than 90 degrees. He's got a torso, like a hinge here at the torso. Look at that. That's really good. Check that out. Wow. I'm really surprised. And then the hips, you can almost do a split. They come forward. Oh, man. He's got that newer style articulation in the hips. Awesome. I didn't even realize that. I thought he was going to have those older, nasty hip joints, but he doesn't. He's got like the really good, like new hip joints. See that? Look. So they go forward and they go like to the side, they go back, and you don't even have to turn the stupid hip on this one. This is rad. And then the knees, look at that, more than 90 degrees. And then the ankles right here. He's got ankle pivots, rocker ankles. Very nice. Very nice. He's also got a jetpack, as you can see. And I believe it does come off. Yep, it does. Put it back on. And then his pistol has there's a holster here. And we'll stick the gun, the pistol in there, and then we can pose him with this other longer rifle that he comes with. Just get it in his hand. Just do a little bit of like a pose here on him, and I'll hold him back up. I'm bad at this. There we go. Got a little bit of a pose there with this guy. This is cool. I dare say this is the best Mandalorian figure they've ever done, and that includes like the Boba Fett they did, what, like 2 years ago. Like this is good. This is awesome. This is an awesome figure. I'm glad I have more coming because this is good. I know there's the stripes. There's different like ranks or something. Like this one has 2 stripes on his shoulder or on his chest armor and on his leg and on his shoulder. And I know there's like some that have 1 stripe and some that have 3 stripe in the show, but in the Mandalorian, I'd like to get more of those if they could do more. But for now, this is really good, you guys. This is a great figure. This is a great figure. I love it. I love it. I'm really happy with this figure. Very good stuff. Let's go ahead. I'm going to do one more pass here in the comments and see what is going on before we wrap. All right. So, damn you, Hasbro, your recent infection. Collect your 1970. Right now, Yoda is looking very sad in his package. Transformer using rubber bands and twist. Yeah, so that's a possibility instead of tape. Very nice figure. It makes me want to track down a few others. Mando speaker box from Clone Wars. Speaker box? Speeder bike? I have that one. We need a pack of them with different marks. Yes. They need to make a Django with that mold. Yes, that would be amazing. Sweet. Kudos to them on all these Mandalorian molds figures. They're getting better and better. Started with OG Mando and Boba Return of the Jedi. Such a great figure. The card back is equally awesome. Django is this mold. In this mold. That's awesome. That's his love gun. And the blue is beautiful. Yeah, the color is great. The color is great. A former come in to don't tell the wife. Yeah, the colors are great. I love the colors on these. It's a beautiful shade of blue. Beautiful blue colors. Friends, it's been fun. Thanks for hanging out with me this evening. Yeah, a lot going on in the world of toys, and I appreciate you guys sharing your thoughts and comments and questions here with me. And this plastic-free packaging is. I wish we were talking about happier topics, but it is something worth discussing. It is something that needs to be talked about. So, thanks for hanging out with me. It's fun. We'll be here again next week. I think next week we have Aries from the Aries Tarrington show, 6-scale Cantina. He's going to be on. He was on the show, I think, a couple months back. Oi is a great person to have on the show. He's like solid positivity and very constructive. And it'll be nice having him back on the show. So next week we are looking at our original time at 8 p.m. Pacific, not 7 p.m. like we've been doing the last 2 weeks. It will be the old time because Aries has multiple shows he's on Friday evenings, and we're working with that. So I hope you guys tune in for that next week at the old time, 8 p.m. Pacific time, next week only. And then we'll come back to 7 o'clock after that. So thanks, everybody. It's been fun. Really appreciate doing these. These are fun. These are a blast. One final thing I want to mention is that I will be at Star Wars Celebration. If you follow me on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, I threw up a thing that Dan O from the Dan O channel created. Basically, Saturday of the convention, I will be out there with a bunch of other creators. So if you guys want to say hi, you can definitely stop by. I will be out there with Dan O and a bunch of other creators saying hi to our subscribers and friends and awesome people in this community, great community. So I hope to see you there if you're going to Celebration. This will be, all details are on my Instagram, but I think it's from 2 to 2:30. We'll be out there in front of the convention center. So everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy. I know I need this weekend, so get some rest, have fun, and take it easy. And yeah, keep it real. Let's keep talking Star Wars. Let's keep celebrating this awesome, huge month of May, which is huge for Star Wars always, but especially this year, because there's so much going on with Star Wars. So take care, be safe, and may the Force be with you.